Coming up next on Passion Struck, imagine Sisu as your secret weapon, hidden deep within you. It's not just about survival in a tough situation, but the power that lets you tackle enormous challenges head on. Welcome to Passion Struck. Hi, I'm your host, John R. Miles, and on the show, we decipher the secrets, tips, and guidance of the world's most inspiring people and turn their wisdom into practical advice for you and those around you. Our mission is to help you unlock the power of intentionality so that you can become the best version of yourself. If you're new to the show, I offer advice and answer listener questions on Fridays. We have long-form interviews the rest of the week with guests ranging from astronauts to authors, CEOs, creators, innovators, scientists, military leaders, visionaries, and athletes. Now, let's go out there and become Passion Struck. Ever heard of the word Sisu? If you're shaking your head, don't worry. Most folks outside of Finland might be drawing a blank too. No, it's not a sushi roll or an exotic cocktail. It's something far more intriguing and transformative. Sisu is a Finnish concept that runs deep within their culture, kind of like the heartbeat beneath the chest. Imagine it's a frigid winter night in the Finnish wilderness. You're lost and alone, but something pushes you forward instead of surrendering to despair. That underlying spirit, that's Sisu. This isn't just about having guts or grit. It's courage and resilience on steroids. And guess what? It's not just about surviving frosty Nordic nights. It can help you transform your personal growth, personal relationships, and ultimately your success in life. Eager to learn more? Let's take an icy plunge into the world of Sisu together. I have been so excited to release this episode today because I think Sisu is a fundamental concept that has such an amazing parallel to everything that I talk about here on Passion Struck. Sisu may be a term that's familiar to many people outside of Finland, but let me tell you, its power is universal. This four-letter word, deeply rooted in Finnish culture, embodies determination, resilience, and unyielding courage in the face of adversity. Picture this, you're in an intense soccer game, down by 2 goals with mere minutes remaining. As pressure mounts, that indomitable spirit that pushes you to fight back, to defy the odds, that's Sisu. It's not just about weathering the storm, but charging into it with the audacity of David facing Goliath. This is so much more than just a word. It's the Finnish DNA, a concept echoing with the New York Times terms stress resilience. Dive into the world of Sisu and discover a philosophy of strength and tenacity that's more impactful than a punch from Mike Tyson in his prime. The term Sisu isn't just a recent buzzword. Its legacy runs deep in Finland, tracing back centuries. Its significance was most notably on display during World War II when the Finns, against daunting odds, fiercely resisted an invading Soviet army. Prime Minister Risto Riti's bold proclamation, "We have only one goal, victory," epitomized this indomitable spirit. Fast forward to recent times, a little bit Lahti from Finland-based Aalto University brought the essence of Sisu back to global attention. But Lahti didn't just theorize about Sisu, she embodied it, embarking on a staggering 2,400-kilometer, 50-day bike and running journey across New Zealand in 2018. She championed the cause of domestic violence victims, transforming the essence of Sisu from words to undeniable action. Now, you might be musing, so basically Finns are badass and I'm not. Well, the answer to that is no. The beauty of Sisu is that it's not exclusive to Finns. Sisu is within all of us, waiting to be awakened. Recall a challenging moment in your life, a looming deadline, or a tough decision. Overwhelmed? Maybe. Defeated? Never. The resilient spirit that propelled you forward, that's Sisu. You may be thinking that there might be some English translation to Sisu, something like grit or perseverance maybe. Nope. The beauty and frustration of Sisu lies in its untranslatability. Sure, words like grit and perseverance touch on aspects of it, but fall short of capturing its essence completely. Huffington Post describes it as the concept of acting rationally in the face of adversity. It's a form of dogged determination that arises not from hope or passion, but from the unwavering commitment to overcome. And in Finland, Sisu isn't just an intangible concept. It's part of their daily existence. Finns value it so much that they have designed their entire education system around nurturing this trait among youngsters. And let me tell you, when I say youngsters, we're talking about kids barely out of their diapers, learning how to cross-country ski, as well as other sports. So you may be wondering, how does Sisu create an action-oriented mindset? Sisu is about having courage in the face of adversity. It's not just running headfirst into trouble, but standing tall when things get tough. The power lies in its persistence aspect. Giving up isn't part of the Sisu vocabulary. This resilient attitude translates directly into an action-oriented mindset because you're not backing down. Instead, you're getting shit done. This might sound intense, almost Spartan-like, but remember, resilience doesn't mean being hard-headed or stubborn for no reason. Instead, it involves adapting to circumstances while staying committed to our goals. The magic happens when this mindset starts permeating every aspect of your life, from how you approach personal goals to dealing with challenging situations at work or in your relationships. So let's dive further into how Sisu cultivates an action-oriented mindset. An action-oriented mindset doesn't just happen overnight. It's cultivated over time with consistent effort and intentional thinking. It's like muscle memory from working out at the gym repeatedly until lifting weights becomes second nature. So too is developing that action-first mentality through daily practice and patience. In essence, embracing Sisu leads us directly to cultivating such a mentality where we proactively take charge of our lives rather than passively react to circumstances. It's like switching from being a chess piece on the board at the mercy of other players' moves to becoming the player who strategizes and masters the game. Sisu doesn't only inspire movement, it also breeds resilience, an essential quality in maintaining momentum in challenging times. Positive psychology explains how resilience helps us to bounce back from setbacks by reframing failures as opportunities for learning instead of obstacles. This shift in our outlook can have a powerful effect on other activities. Rather than being immobilized by fear and failure, Sisu, rooted in positive psychology, encourages us to persist despite the circumstances. Sisu is not just about taking action, it's about taking purposeful action. The real power behind Sisu lies in its ability to convert thoughts into actions. Let's say you've got this grand idea or goal. Start your own business, write a book. You might even be thinking about climbing Mount Everest. It doesn't matter how ambitious it is. This relentless pursuit to unyielding spirit that fuels continuous growth and breeds achievement, further promoting an active lifestyle. By connecting your actions with your values and ambitions, you are more likely to stay committed even when things get tough. So now that I've discussed how Sisu helps cultivate an action-oriented mindset, let's go through the psychological perspective of Sisu. Picture yourself in a frozen Finnish forest, battling harsh winds and numbing cold. You're faced with an enormous tree that's blocking your path, but instead of turning back, you muster the strength to keep going. This is Sisu. The psychological concept is not just about survival. It's the driving force behind mental toughness and resilience. If we were to dissect Sisu like one would do in a high school biology class, at its core, you'd find resilience, a trait psychologists recognize as so crucial to overcoming life's obstacles. You know those people who bounce back from setbacks stronger than before? That's because they have a healthy dose of resilience. This isn't just some fluffy theory either. Research has linked resilient individuals with better mental health and increased life satisfaction. Moving past mere survival, when applied actively, Sisu can help us thrive amidst challenges. It fuels our mental toughness. And if you're wondering what mental toughness looks like, imagine Rocky Balboa going another round after being pummeled again and again. A study published by the Journal of Applied Psychology revealed how grit, quality akin to Sisu, predicts success over talent or IQ alone. It's the sheer will to keep pushing forward, no matter the circumstances. So if you're seeking a real tangible embodiment of Sisu, look no further than Saarinen. This Finnish philosopher is not just an expert in the theory. He's living proof that Sisu can be harnessed. Born into a country where Sisu is woven into the cultural fabric, Isa has always had this unwielding determination embedded within him. But it wasn't until he faced some harsh realities that his inner Sisu ignited like never before. In response to life's challenges, instead of buckling under the pressure, Isa took them head on. He chose resilience over retreat, a decision that was guided by the principles of Sisu. And Issa isn't one to allow ideas to stagnate on paper or dwell only in scholarly debates. He firmly believes in putting words into action. His dynamic lectures are peppered with real-life examples and tips that allow listeners to see how philosophical concepts translate into everyday situations. Issa's goal? To inspire others towards positive change, whether it's developing more effective thinking patterns or embracing lifelong learning. And at the heart of all of this, his trusty sidekick, Sisu. In Issa's worldview, or should we say universe, Sisu isn't merely a survival tool or an attitude that helps you grin and bear it when things get tough. It goes way beyond resilience and perseverance. Sisu, says Issa, is about transformative action. This relentless pursuit hasn't gone unnoticed either. Issa demonstrates this by taking daunting challenges head on. For example, Issa was one of the chief architects behind a nationwide initiative called Positive CV, which aimed to transform how young Finns perceive their potential and future. Issa's unique combination of philosophy and practicality, providing insights to all walks of life, has earned him a substantial following worldwide. From students at the Aalto University, where he's a professor, to participants in public lectures, Issa's influence extends far beyond academic circles. His ability to inspire individuals and encourage them to embrace Sisu as a lifestyle is nothing short of remarkable. So next I want to talk about how do we holistically use the power of Sisu. I'm going to start by talking about how we can apply it to personal development. In life's game of dodgeball, problems are the balls that are thrown at us. Some we duck, others smack us right in the face. But what if we could use Sisu to catch those balls and throw them back? It's not about becoming invincible, but learning to rise each time we fall, because failures are stepping stones towards growth. Just like Batman needed his Batcave experiences. Yep, it was dark and full of bats. Embracing challenges helps us to develop grittier versions of ourselves. Let's examine 4 ways to utilize Sisu in our personal lives. The first is to shift our mindset and to see challenges as pathways. Embracing Sisu starts with a perspective shift. Consider setbacks as gateways, not barriers. Encountered a problem? Explore it. What's the lesson? Perhaps a hidden strength or weakness to address. Then there's grit and tenacity, which help you to stoke your inner fire. Sisu isn't just about enduring. It's about pushing through with unwavering determination, like marathon runners who push through the pain because the finish line beckons. Apply this vigor to personal growth. It's also courage in action, where you defeat fear with audacity. Sisu is about courageous action. As Mark Manson often articulates in his books, choose the struggles that matter. Identify a current fear hindering your growth and boldly challenge it. And lastly, it's about integrity. The integrity to live authentically. Stand firm in your beliefs. This might involve setting boundaries or making hard choices that resonate with your core values. Brené Brown emphasizes the transformative power of vulnerability and authenticity. Embrace it. So now that we've gone through those 4 ways that you can apply Sisu to your personal life, let's explore now how you can apply it to your career. Surely we all know someone who's unstoppable at work, not because they have superhuman powers, but because they tap into this thing we've been talking about called Sisu. What if I said that you could use your inner Sisu to propel your career? Let's examine 3 ways to apply Sisu in your career. The first step towards incorporating Sisu into your career begins with resilience. The corporate landscape is fraught with hurdles. Sisu helps transform setbacks into catalysts for growth. Remember, resilience turns adversity into an asset. Building resilience isn't easy, but it's worth every effort because it turns adversity into an advantage. The second step is to harness grit. Angela Duckworth spotlighted the power of grit, but at its heart, grit shares its core with Sisu, a relentless drive for enduring goals. In your professional journey, integrate Sisu by fully committing to your dreams and facing challenges with unwavering resolve. It's not just about reaching success or fearing failure, but the deep-rooted courage captured perfectly by Sisu that makes all the difference. The third step towards embodying Sisu professionally involves choosing a career that aligns with your core values and using it as a vehicle to make meaningful contributions. More than just finding a job you love, Sisu emphasizes valuing the hard work and the sacrifices it entails. It's about cherishing both the destination and the journey. So now that we've talked about how do you apply Sisu in your personal life and in your career, let's now talk about how you can apply it in in your relationships. Just as stormy winds test the strength of an oak tree, our relationships also face trials that test their durability. Here's where Sisu steps into play. It can help you build stronger bonds, foster understanding, and create lasting love. But how does one apply this elusive strength into their relationships? Here are some practical strategies. The first is to navigate relationship storms by directly addressing challenges. No relationship is immune from challenges. They're inevitable. But with Sisu by your side, navigating these stormy seas becomes less daunting. Sisu empowers us to encounter problems head on instead of avoiding them or hoping that they'll magically disappear. This proactive approach often leads to healthier discussions and to more effective solutions. Second, it builds trust by upholding honesty. Incorporating Sisu into our relationships also means being brave enough to practice honesty and transparency consistently. Sure, telling hard truths can be uncomfortable at times, but doing so builds trust, a critical ingredient for any relationship. Third, it helps to maintain independence by cultivating connection. A common misconception is that strong relationships require individuals to lose themselves in each other completely. In reality, maintaining individuality while nurturing connection creates a healthy balance, an area where Sisu shines brightly. Embracing interdependence fosters personal growth, ultimately enriching the shared bonds between partners. And then lastly, it fosters emotional resilience. Life has a funny way of throwing curveballs when we least expect them. Self-compassion, an essential aspect of Sisu, encourages kindness towards oneself during difficult times instead of harsh self-criticism. This not only aids in emotional recovery, but also boosts our ability to bounce back stronger than ever. Nurturing a relationship is challenging. It requires persistent work to keep that spark alive. It demands consistent effort, something that hits the nail right on the head. So let's just touch briefly on Sisu's global relevance. The allure of Sisu, its universal resonance. It speaks to human tenacity. It's a beacon during challenging times. Sisu's essence is evident globally, from Olympians' determination to communities that are battling crises, whether during Australia's wildfires or Ukraine's response to Russia's invasion. The echoes of Sisu are evident. We have journeyed through the profound depths of Sisu, from its Finnish origins to its transformative power and action-driven pursuits. But beyond its definition, what does Sisu truly signify? It represents an indomitable spirit, a resilience that doesn't just endure, but thrives even when the odds are insurmountable. Saarinen encapsulated it best. It's not merely about surviving, but flourishing. Sisu isn't about landscapes or adventures. It's the catalyst behind personal evolution, the wind beneath the wings of burgeoning careers, and the heartbeat of enduring, meaningful relationships. Indeed, Sisu isn't just a term, but a testament to human tenacity. Let's end today's episode with a reflection. Sisu is more than just a word. It's a reservoir of strength, determination, and tenacity within each one of us. As you move forward, ask yourself, how will you channel your inner Sisu to reshape your life's narrative? I hope you all enjoyed the show, and I wanted to thank everyone who wrote in this week, and especially those who listened. You're about to hear a preview of the Passion Struck podcast that I did with Kara Collier. As a registered dietitian nutritionist and the co-founder and VP of Health at NutriSense, Kara's expertise is reshaping the landscape of personalized health. In our discussion, we do a deep dive into continuous glucose monitoring systems and how it can revolutionize your understanding of your body's responses.
What I realized was two things. One is that the CGM is measuring your glucose continually. And the glucose you can essentially think of as the fuel for that metabolic engine. So it's kind of the main energy source for our metabolic system. So by being able to monitor what's happening based off of different ways you're eating, different lifestyle habits, you could see a lot of information from one input. So kind of like the 80-20 rule, if I started to get people to just improve their glucose levels, they started to see all of those benefits start to have that ripple effect. So I realized the metric itself was really powerful as a root cause biometric. And then the second is that feedback loop, that power of real-time data coming at you. Every decision you make, you're going to either get positive reinforcement or negative reinforcement. Was an amazing and still is an amazing behavior change tool.
Remember that we rise by lifting others, so share this show with those you love. And if you found today's episode on Sisu useful, then share it with somebody who could use the advice that I gave here on today's show. In the meantime, do your best to apply what you hear on the show so that you can live what you listen. Now, go out there and become passion struck.